Chewing is a natural dog behavior. It's also a self-rewarding behavior, and it's also linked to energy. Treat balls, treat toys, and Kongs are great activities for your dog to engage in to help promote calmness. So if they're engaged in a treat ball or a Kong, they're lying down, they're being calm, they're not barking, they're not running around, they're not behaving in a way we don't want them to behave. So this is a really good passive calming activity to start teaching your puppy right away. The other thing that we need to keep in mind when we're working with certain toys, like Kongs and stuffing them, is our dog's tolerance of frustration. Puppies have a very short attention span. They have a very low tolerance of frustration. So we can't make it too difficult for them to get the food out of the toy. Otherwise, they'll give up, quit, and move on to something else that's easier access. So when we start introducing our puppies to Kongs, we need to make it fairly easy so that they can feel successful and get rewarded for playing with the toy. Over time, once they start getting good at it and they realize, ooh, keep at it because the good stuff's at the bottom, then we can start creating more and more challenges. For a simple beginner Kong stuffing, like for puppies that are new to this, you want to make sure that everything inside the Kong is loose except for on the top, just to keep everything in. I like to take some higher value things. I've got some buffalo long hair, and I've got some turkey hearts, freeze-dried turkey hearts here from Life's Abundance. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it because it's too big. Cut them into small pieces so that they'll come out of the Kong fairly easy. And then what I do is I put a couple in the bottom, just so that there's something high value in there. And then you can also, add something different, like the turkey heart too, just to give it a different smell. And put that in there as well. Then what I like to do is take some of my dog's allotment of kibble for the day and put that in there. So this actually is going to be kind of a meal for your puppy. It's nice to put value into things like Kongs and other treat toys because that's going to help instill good chewing habits. It's also going to help instill calmness and promoting that off switch. So then I'll take my Kong and I'll put some yummy stuff on top. So I'll put some pumpkin in there. And then I'm actually going to put a little bit of peanut butter on top of that. So we've got a nice little cap, like so. So an intermediate Kong stuffing is we're going to layer things a little bit more, get a little bit more complicated. What I like to do is, again, put high value stuff down at the bottom. And I'm going to do some loose down at the bottom. And then I'll put some kibble in there just to get a nice layer to kind of fill that bottom part of the Kong. Then what I'm going to do is now I'm going to put something soft. So I'm going to put a soft layer in there. And I'm going to put some pumpkin in there. Kind of knock it down in there. I'm going to put some squash in there. Whoop. Knock that down in there. So yummy, high value stuff that's soft. It's the next layer. Then I'm going to portion out some more allotment of my dog's kibble for the day. And put some of that in there. Put it in. You can also put in, the antioxidant bars. I like to break them up still at this stage. So just something a little bit crunchy and nice along with the kibble. So there we go. So almost to the top. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another layer of soft stuff and fill it the rest of the way. So I'm going to mash some pumpkin in there, like so. And then cap again with some peanut butter, like that. The other thing that you can do too is take one of the wholesome hearts, squeeze your Kong a little bit, and kind of wedge that in there, like so. And that way then your dog works to get this out first, and it can take a little while, and then they've got all the yummy stuff down below inside your Kong. So then we come to the advanced stuffing, and what I do with that is in the advanced I put something high value and soft down at the bottom. So I'm going to start with some peanut butter down there. Helps if your peanut butter is kind of soft. So I've got that down in there. Then I'll put some other high value things in there. So I'm going to put some of the buffalo lung and the turkey heart in there. And then I'm going to put some kibble. And again, it's the allotment of kibble for my dog's day. This is actually kind of considered a meal. So put some kibble in there. I'm going to put a larger piece of, so I have to kind of squeeze that a little bit. Stick that puppy down in there, like that. Then I'll do another soft layer. So I'm going to do some butternut squash in there. And I'll get some pumpkin in there. Then I'm going to put more kibble. And I'm going to pack that in there. It can get a little messy. So packing it in there so it's tight. I know some other people will also take a bully stick, they'll stick that in there and then they'll fill around it. You can do that too. Just make sure that your dog is good with bully sticks and that they won't eat whole the last 2 inches and possibly choke on it or have it upset their stomach and have it come up later. So just supervise and be careful with that. So I'm almost to the top, so then at this point I'm going to do another soft layer, and I'm going to do peanut butter again, just a little bit at the top, like so. There's a little pumpkin mixed in there as well, and that's the advance. The stuff is packed in there really tight. We have a soft layer at the bottom, and then a little bit larger pieces, so it's going to take a little bit more work to soften those up and get them out. Use your Kongs in times where you want your dogs to be occupied with something else while you're doing something. So this is what we call real life training. So a time where you're going to want calmness. Maybe when you're cooking a meal, your dog is enjoying a Kong on their boundary or in the X-pen or in the crate. Maybe it's when you've got work to do, and so you want your dog to have something to occupy them and something nice so that they're quiet while you get some work done. Or it can also be after a walk and now it's time to come in and settle down, which can be hard for some dogs sometimes, especially Aussies who have a lot of energy. and plenty to spare. So sometimes when we're done with the walk, they may not be. So this is a great activity to do after some playtime or walks or fun outside to transition them back down into calmness again and turn off.